weeks to
Sorry, I
be
forgot that.
to be present for the full time. But I'm especially happy as well because I have the feeling in the beginning we did these mutual agreements between us and we followed up. And also very happy about the knowledge that I gained how mentoring is working in Amazon. And I pass to Jana.
Thank you. Yes, I was distracted by many things during the last weeks, and so I think I managed to focus, and I noted down a lot of things I want to improve in. Yeah, so I hope I can do that. Thank you. Were they the last one?
No, there's still
Asma, right?
Jehan and Asma, I think.
Asma.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm afraid I missed the question. I heard a lot of good and positive things, but what was the question?
Yeah, what are you proud of for yourself from this workshop?
Well, yes, I'm definitely proud that I managed to wake up at 5 a.m. Every day the last 2 weeks and to combine field visits together with this training. Yeah, I felt it's very, very interesting. And yeah, I'm also proud to see that we get the skills of how to empower people and to see how much we can influence others. And who is left? I forgot who is left. Who was the last one? Was it me?
It was Jehan.
I'm left.
Jehan. Okay. And I pass it to Jehan.
Okay, so thanks, Asma. And I think it's amazing to hear everybody say how proud they were of just physically even making it. So I think it's a bit depressing how much that is our first achievement. And I think Teresa was the first one to say it. It was going to be what I was going to say. But I'm proud of taking the time to see how to help others, and also taking the time out for myself, as Maria Sole was saying, to learn some new skills and to build a bit my knowledge on this topic. So thank you. And meeting a lot of nice people too.
All right, thank you all. Of course, we do this to hear you as a as a group on hey, what are you proud of? It can work quite nice also when you're with a team, so not in a mentoring session, but also it's actually an interesting question from time to time to ask your mentee. I say, hey, what are you proud of? And in mentoring, that is to let your mentee reflect by themselves on, hey, what am I proud of? Gives them motivation, energy, but also for your mentee to know, hey, what do they have already? So what is something that they're good? Is that their leadership or team management? And then what is something that they might still want to work on to get better into their role? So it's a very simple question, but and you can phrase them differently, but it can really help. As we said, the individual feedback, whoever sent in the recording will come or has arrived already. Ruth is managing that. And we're also, we have some general feedback, but before getting there, how was your practicing yesterday? Was it better than Tuesday or was it worse than Tuesday? And you can show it or you can write it in the chat. Was yesterday better than Tuesday or not? Worse for me, I see. Being tired. All right. Much better. That's what we usually see. Better and worse technically. A bit better, much better. For me, it was better. Well, some were worse, some were better. So that's two different scenarios. It's always a mess, but nice, and maybe thanks to the advices of the others. So yeah, that's why we do that feedback. Yeah, of course, you were a little bit hampered by the recording on Tuesday. So then our intention is usually that you record on the Tuesday, you get your feedback latest on Thursday morning. So you have that feedback and you can incorporate it in your practicing of that way. So yeah, our apologies that that didn't work out. We don't know what happened with Zoom. We tested it the next day and we had no problem. So whether it was a glitch in Zoom or maybe the order of things that resulted in that. So sorry for that. But yeah, anyway, we hope the feedback you get on your Thursday practicing was still happening. And yesterday there was another glitch in the, yeah, with everybody all of a sudden getting back into the room. That is because somebody in the room, and I can say that carefully, but without judgment, by mistake pushed the button close all rooms. So that's how you got back. That's so anyway, we'll also we got some learning from that, and for next workshops we'll make sure that yeah, being the co-host, which is easiest really for you to record because you can actually jump back. We often have people that have limited internet connectivity, so when they come back, they can put them back. But that also had the disadvantage if by mistake somebody pushes that button, then closing all the rooms. So, and again, this is not judgment. I've been facilitating quite some workshops on Zoom. I think I made all the mistakes you can make in Zoom. I already did them. So getting everybody back, I've done that several times, or sending people in a breakout group with the time of the breakout group from the last exercise. So then they would send too short, so everybody got back. And so, but yeah, the recordings that I saw, people have been fixing that. I'm going to share my screen, and then Mansoor will share some general feedback that we observed. I'll get that in a second.
Yeah.
And do you see it, Mansoor?
Yes, I do see that. So I'm just trying to put the people face on the second screen that I can view guys as. Okay, so yeah, for me, like it was very beautiful to see many things when I was able to see few of the recordings, and also some other colleagues, they have shared that the things which was given to you in tempo or in written form on videos, and what we have discussed in the online format as well, that you was able to pick quite a lot and try to utilize that was quite obvious into that, you know. And by saying that, there was like some of the things which we have noticed or which can be taken to the next step of the development. There is nothing wrong, but here to really increase your muscle of mentoring, you know. So like the first thing which was quite obvious, that at some point some people really went to give a lot of advice, and advice is not forbidden in mentoring. Definitely you can give that, you know, but like in order to really see your mentee as a resourceful person and asking by more questions, like allow them to find going into the deeper side of their own potential and come with the solution. So questions that helps. And of course, like at the end, if you really feel necessary, you can definitely share with them, you know, as your experience or advice, but keep at the end, you know. It should not be your first thing to do that, because otherwise it will hamper their growth or their own tapping into their potential. So just be aware of that, and that can help you. And one of the things which was very good to see, that some of you, when you have given the feedback, so and you really went back and check in with the mentee that if that works. So that was a very excellent action, you know? So reconfirming it really allowed to you that it's really worked for them. So keep that practice in that way. And at some point, like people did very good into the sessions, but at the end the session might be like not concluded in a way with the next step. So always try to do that, help your mentee to really go into the process to find out what are the next steps are, you know. It would really help them to conclude what you have done and give them a very good parameter to work for the next time. So it's really nailing down, making it more concrete in a way for them, giving them a frame So be aware of that. And yeah, and there was some really good, like people were normalizing, they were really good rephrasing and really showing their empathy, which is really key in the mentoring, like where the connection become more stronger and between you and the mentoring become really powerful. So, and then at the same time, you know, you need to maybe put more next level of championing to them, like championing really help them, you know. So be aware of that. When you really do this kind of things, you really need to add a bit more championing, bit like a bit of salt on the food, like which is really enhance everything. And yeah, and then it was like there was something like a meeting frequency that is just like one of the point, like this you have to decide with actually with your mentee, like when they want, how they want, you know. But in our experience, like once every 2 weeks seems to work. But like this, you have to make an appointment. But in that time, some people say that, okay, in between that time, you can maybe send me an email or call. Yes, of course, it's possible, but be conscious of that. You can really do this thing, or it's really needed for them, you know, and you can really commit to that and make them more independent into that, like keep the mentoring session in a line and keep that space. So yeah, otherwise you might have coming emails every single day or third day, that how that works. So to be available, but also be structured. That's what I wanted to say in that line. And yeah, and one of the thing was like sometime there was very good question, but sometimes they were a bit long, so it take more space of the mentoring session. So it's really good to ask good question, powerful question, and which allow mentee to think, reflect, and go deeper to see their challenges and find solutions. But like really keep your question short, you know. And when you have like a really a short question, it's really helped to the mentee, and that's become a more powerful. And we say it very funnily, like a lazy mentor is a good mentor, because usually it's very normal. I'm a mentor, I do that. When I hear, I say, oh, I should say this thing, and it's the first reflex. But the thing is, try to be lazy there, you know. Keep that back in your head, you know. Ask question rather than going into, yeah. And that's the way is. So yeah, these are the few lines in regard to feedback. It's not specific to one person, but very generalized. So please keep that how it worked for you. So yeah, by saying that, Richard, do you want to add anything in any line, or?
No, that is, yeah, maybe in addition to, yeah, keep your questions short, is we saw sometimes people really talking quite a bit, and of course sometimes you want to share an experience and you have something really to say. So we don't say don't speak at all, but yeah, the mentoring is really for the mentee, and I always feel like if I see a mentee developing into the role, that's where I find the power for me and why I like doing it. So yeah, don't talk so much, yeah? Which is difficult to say to MSF people, but no. And then no, maybe we can move
Yeah.
and I'll stop sharing. Is any questions about this or any other question that you have from your mentoring that you, or an observation from your mentoring that you want to share with the group? Just unmute and ask.
I have one question, which I'm not sure if it's for here actually. So I have, I recruited someone in South Sudan as a project pharmacist. Now in December, he will become a mission pharmacist. So they are basically nationalizing the position. And he just emailed me, he said, I may need a mentor in December, please say yes, because I want you. So if I have people that have personal like relationship with me, like they reach out to me, am I allowed to reach out to the mentoring manager to tell them there is a case like that, or I should tell them to reach out to the person if they are not aware of the communication?
Well, eventually the mentoring program manager is matching. So as you already mentioned, hey, yes, the mentoring program manager should be involved. So definitely the case, and has the final decision, because there can be reasons, why you should not be matched. For yourself, you need to really tell to yourself and reflect a bit on that. Can I mentor that person? If it's really your partner or a super good friend, you need to really think about, do I have a conflict of interest? Can I also be a bit bold? Can I be challenging my mentee? So if your answer to that is yes, then there is no reason why you cannot be the mentor. And then the path to go, would indeed, I would suggest that you ask your mentee to contact the mentoring program manager and say, hey, I know that Ashan is a mentor, and I know her, and I actually I like her to be my mentor. It happened to me one time, a couple of times. So it should not be a problem at all. You need to make sure you don't have a conflict of interest. And my recommendation would be, let the mentee take a little bit the initiative there.
Great, thank you.
Any more questions
or observations from your practicing?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
It's on this part of balance between advice and what if there's a situation where the mentee is asking for a lot of advice? How would you advise to deal with this kind of situation? One. And the second part of my question is just to understand a little bit kind of the principle behind it. I guess it is allowing people to tap into their inner resources, right? So the teach a man how to fish kind of situation. So not to deliver the solution, but more to get people to tap into the infinite resources available to them within them. Correct?
Yeah. Well, there is, for example, also in clinical mentoring, there is a lot more advice from the mentor, which is, for example, an experienced surgeon or something. So there are different ways to do mentoring. So that in MSF, in the mentoring in MSF, that we want the mentees first to find their own solution is a choice. That choice has basically two backgrounds. One is what you also saw in the materials, is the non-interference with operations. So if a mentor on a massive scale starts to strongly recommend, then it's that can be seen by operations as an interfering with operations. That's sort of like a fundamental background. But secondly, we really believe that when somebody finds their own solutions, that it's much more powerful for the person to grow in the role. So that's actually the main reason for it. In mentoring, a bit different from coaching, where in coaching, the focus is really only on the coachee to explore and to find. And also the coach not necessarily has the same experience. There it rarely happens. So in mentoring, advice is possible and can be very, very useful. Our suggestion to you as a mentor is don't think it's forbidden, not at all, but explore first your mentee to find their own solutions. A good starting question is, what have you done already? And what have you thought of already? And now that you're here with me in this confidential space or in this quiet place, and that you can look a little bit back and step back, because that's what mentoring is. What do you think of now? And then, a lot mentees are asked, hey, did you have a similar situation? Or, hey, what would be your advice? So if you have an experience, sometimes you don't, but if you have an experience, share it and do that check-in and say, hey, how can that work for you? Or now with this experience that you heard from me, how can you make that applicable to your situation? So again, what you do is you constantly give it back to the mentee. And then on advice, that's why we say a little bit, try to make that last. And sometimes you don't have that scope, you don't have that space, and you have to come to to solutions. If you come to an advice, again, check in. Hey, does that work for you? Or hey, do you want to fine tune that on how to make it work? Or you can even say, hey, you gave already a number of things. I want to add to the brainstorming of all the solutions that your mentee already came with. I like to add 1 or 2 more solutions. And then again, give it back to your mentee. Say to your mentee, now what will work best for you? Or what is your choice? Or what do you want to do first? If your mentee is a bit gobbling with it, what will be your first step? And then again on solutions, you don't need to, in a mentoring relationship, always find the solution there. Often you do, which is very rewarding for you as a mentor. But a good outcome of a discussing of a topic in the mentoring can also be that your mentee walks out of that and is going to do an analysis of what are all the pluses and minuses and then makes a decision. That's an excellent outcome in mentoring.
Thank you, super clear.
All right, any other comments or questions? All right, then we'll move on. We have a number of slides. We just show you a number of things to kind of a bit integrate everything that you've been learning over the last 2 weeks. So some things are a bit new, and it's for you to reflect a little bit on, hey, now that you got a lot of theoretical things that you looked at yourself, you did the practicing, you did the plenary sessions. So we have a few concepts that we want to share with you to let you reflect a little bit more, to give that with you. So I'm going to share my screen again. And this is a slide created a long time ago by Professor David Clutterbuck. David Clutterbuck is really one of the gurus in mentoring and coaching. And he's a good friend of us in the Mentoring and Coaching Hub. You will also find in your additional resources powerful questions. He wrote a 46-page booklet on all kinds of powerful questions that you can imagine. So David Clutterbuck said, where will you be in a mentoring relationship? And we created that for you in your practicing. So you were first doing your agreement in your practicing last week Thursday, and then we told you, now that you've had your agreement, your practicing on Tuesday was you're kind of 1 month into the mentoring, or in your first real mentoring session. And then we wanted you to look more on, hey, where you are in maturation, and that was the subject of yesterday's practicing. So here are the phases in the mentoring relationship explained, and where the intensity of the learning for the mentee is. So in the beginning, you need to have your agreement, but you also still need to be touching a little bit, so that there is a need to really build that rapport. Do we really trust each other? Does your mentee feel really they can say anything to you? And then in the beginning, there will be a bit more direction. So in the beginning, it will be more difficult, that I just explained on the question of Jehan, to really let explore themselves to find solutions, because there is, yeah, but I don't know. Please, mentor, help me. So you might be in a much more you will be much more in an advice role in that second phase. And then you move to a phase called progress. And what my experience with some of my mentees have is, yeah, Richard, I want to talk about this with you today. And you know what I already thought of? So your mentee is coming by themselves more. And then, but that has a really steep intensity in the learning for them. And then you enter into maturation. Practically, what I've seen a lot in my mentoring is there are not that many topics. You can give your mentee a little bit homework. This is also the moment where you say, hey, let's go over the goals we have set for the mentoring, the competencies or the skills that the mentee wanted to work on. Where are we with that? What else is there to do? So reflect, really tie in whatever has been discussed into the competencies that your mentee wanted to focus on. The learning will be a bit less for your mentee there, and gradually come down until the moment where you probably feel that together is, hey, it's nice, but do we still have purpose in this mentoring? And then together you decide. The mentoring is in principle offered for the duration of the mission, or for an undefined person, if it's, for example, for comms mentoring for people working actually in an HQ role. But you decide together with your mentee, yeah, when we are completed, you complete, and then you just simply stop. For most of the mentoring I had, when they were like 9 months or 12 months missions, we continued the mentoring a bit to the end. But then, yeah, you also get R&R moments from both of you. So what I've seen mostly that gradually over time, instead of meeting once every 2 weeks, it was every 3 weeks, or maybe even once a month, or the sessions would be a little bit shorter. And then if there really is not that much to discuss for a couple of sessions, that we then decided to really close. But with some of them, yeah, the closing was really at the end of the mission of the mentee. This one you've seen in the self-study material, but just to highlight again, mentoring is really about those 3 elements. And you can say, hey, what is venting? But venting is very, very important for your mentee. Your mentees, they go over a lot, and just having you, your undivided attention, and listen to them, and somebody who's been there in their role, there is not a lot of scope for people, certainly in busy missions, for them to have a space for vent. So you really play that role and work really on let them reflect. So from the venting and say, okay, now that you told me all of that, let's reflect. You can even literally say that, or just, if you don't want to use those buzzwords, you just say, now what do you like? What do you think you can do? What have you thought of doing already? Let's explore together. What do you do about it? And that's where you get the learning for your mentee. And then even if it's a topic and you not name exactly what is a competency that you need to work on, because you actually don't have to, is you're actually, by going over a topic an issue that your mentee brings, hey, mentor, I want to talk about this. This is what happened this week. By actually dealing with one case, one issue, one topic, you're actually developing the competencies. That is actually the magic of it. So you not necessarily have to name that, but it can be good from time to time. You don't need to do that in every session, but I know mentors that do. On say, hey, we worked on those 2 or 3 points today. Where do they tie in with the competencies? And then, yeah, you can also let your mentee reflect a little bit where your mentee is. You do that a bit when you do a midterm check-in together. Again, this is from Clutterbuck. This graph tries to explain where will be mentoring relations most effective, and that is when they have high rapport and high clarity of purpose. So why are we in this mentoring? And we really are good together. We have a good relationship. So if you go to the left-hand corner at the bottom, is you have high rapport, you like each other, but you're not really sure why you're there. So it's very nice for friendship, but it doesn't happen. If you move then to the right, where you're on low rapport and low clarity of purpose, this can happen when somebody, for example, has been told to have a mentor. That's why we always do a check-in from the program. Do you really want this? And it happens both in mentoring and coaching that we say, okay, if you don't see the need, then we don't. And then it means going through the motions, just you're there for being there, and you're not achieving anything. If there is high clarity of purpose and low report, there is really not that click between the mentor and the mentee. So then there is a lot of focus on task, but the learning is less. So where you really want to be is in that upper quadrant. So keep that in mind when you sense, oh, maybe my report is not good, or maybe I'm standing as a mentor different in this mentoring than my mentee maybe is. I will not spend too much time on that. Anyway, we will share these materials. From the theory of mentoring, there can be different roles that you can play as a mentor. So you probably have all those hats on when you're mentoring, but you don't have them on all the time. So as we saw in one of the previous slides, you can be guiding in the beginning, a confident. So that's really what people tell us, that why they like the mentoring is that the mentee really feels I'm in a space where I can say everything that I want. Of course, you seek to be a mentor because of your experience. And then if you really have a good report, you can be a sounding board, show your mentee what's going on and challenge your mentee and say, hey, sure, is that really what you want? And again, as a last one, so of course, the mentoring as it is done in MSF has a lot of coaching elements. So you coach your mentee to find their own solutions and let them reflect. So I will not spend too much time here on the roles, but yeah, you will have one of those hats on. So we give this with you, and you can find it on Tempo after that. Sometimes, hey, maybe I need to change my role with my mentee, or at least be clear for yourself where you are in the mentoring. And then a few things. Reflect on mentee's feelings if you want to do that. You seem very upset. You seem angry. You seem overwhelmed with the workload. It's a bit subtle, but by you seem, you leave the space open. If you say you are upset, okay, that's a closed comment. You seem very upset. It comes a bit like a question, so you let your mentee reflect a little bit. Yeah? And you can even ask, is that correct? And then your mentee said, yes, I'm very upset about it. Okay, let's discuss what you can do about it. If you summarize, and this is a bit what Mansoor meant in the feedback, is make it concrete. So sometimes your mentoring is going in a discussion that goes all over the place. If you feel that, your mentee will certainly feel it. So try to come to a conclusion. And the best is to say, okay, now that we discussed, can you sum up what you're going to do now? That's really the standard. If your mentee is not really there, maybe in the beginning of the mentoring, you can sum it up for them. But then always do a checking. So you say, hey, these are the key ideas I heard. Always say, yeah, is that correct? Or, hey, let me sum up what I heard on what you're going to do. You're going to do step A, B, D, C. Is that correct? Or is there something else? And to appreciate, especially when there is a lot of venting on difficult situation, you say, I'm glad you told me. Just very simple. Or you say, I can relate. And that can open up for you to share an experience. Some suggestions for questions. To encourage somebody, yeah, you can have a bit of a quiet mentee. Can you tell me more? And then go on. What happens if you really feel that maybe there is some more ventilation to do, or you're not fully understanding what is this topic really about? To clarify, when did it happen? How did you feel? How did you reach? And then, just to show this very briefly, do you have a good relationship with your team? Well, the answer is hopefully yes, or it can be no. Well, tell me about the relationship with your team. That's an open question. And somebody starts to talk. And then you get the meat on what is the situation. For example, if team management is a competency that your mentee want to work on. And then, have you tried other ways of doing it? Yes. Some will start to talk, but better have that question like this. What other ways have you tried? So it's very subtle, and we just wanted to give that to you as a food for thought for your powerful questions. And then, yeah, to end this, this is really your urge. I have an answer. That is how organizations are set up in the world, and very much so in MSF. People are feeling, when they're in a position in HQ or somewhere in the field, that when somebody comes to them, they need to give the solution. So it's very natural, hey, I have an answer or even an opinion. So this is what you think, and this is what we want you to do. You first, what do you think about it? So that's really, this is what really a mentor should be. Any questions about this? Or was it all clear? As I said, you will get it. You will get it with the slides on tempo after we finished. All right, then we move on. The floor is yours, Mansoor.
Thank you. Okay, so as we know that it is our day number 10 and we are going almost to the end, and like you have put a lot of energy and you have practice, so you're already very good mentor. Actually, you are almost going to be graduate as a mentor, so we want to do a little bit of fun. So you know mentoring very well, so we're gonna create like some groups, like you will go in for 7 minutes, and what you're gonna do, that a bit of exercise, that what on one side it will be you have to do mentoring is, and other side what mentoring is not. So you're gonna create a bit of fun, which Richard is gonna show you how we're gonna do. It's a Miro board, so there are 2 columns actually, and he gonna show you how you can really work on that. Yes, Richard.
Yeah, so we'll soon put a link in the chat, but you just click text and you click anywhere and you can write. Mentoring is difficult. And then you just move your cursor and you move out. And you can write anywhere in any color that you want. So I'll remove this. We'll give you the link to this board. It works best on Mozilla. It doesn't work so much on Edge. So use Mozilla or one of those browsers. When you're in your breakout group, maybe one of you can open the board and share the screen, and then start to type, but you can also all in your breakout group open and but the idea is for you to discuss a little bit what mentoring is and what mentoring is not. And make it fun, make it crazy. We're going to show you this, and we're going to also share it on Tempo. So anything you want to say, and it can be the greatest craziness, mention it there, so that we can also have a fun look at it.
So
yeah, shall I put the?
No, I'm going to do the room. So is that clear for everybody, I guess? Okay, I see you're nodding. So okay, so I'm gonna open the group. So
wait 1 second. Okay. So here's the link.
Yeah.
So the link is in the chat, so you get that with you in the group. So if at least one of you in the group, and Mansoor, it will be groups of 3 or 4, right?
We have 4 groups, so there are 2 groups with 3, and the remaining is with 4 people.
All right. So enjoy.
Enjoy. Yeah. So. Okay. Voila. Should we go?
Yeah,
I'm going to do that.
Yeah, you 2 people are not assigned yet.
Yeah.
Go ahead. All right, I think we're all here. I'm going to share my screen, and then we will read out a bit what you've been cooking for us, and we will share it. I will do mentoring is. So mentoring is what our colleagues. Mentoring is confidential, safe space for learning. Beautiful. Mentoring is professional friendship. Cool. Mentoring is fun. Mentoring is adding value. There is a guest artist who's blocking my screen a bit. Don't know who's that. Mentoring is championing. Yes. Mentoring is self-reflections. Mentoring is enriching. Mentoring is part of adult learning, and mentoring is listening. Mentoring is learning. Mentoring is people development. Again, listening. Mentoring is out of the box. Yes, that's where great mentoring takes place. Is a collaborative relationship. Mentoring is everybody. Mentoring is helping others. Mentoring is empowering people. Mentoring is cool. Mentoring is being humble with themselves. Oh, I love that one. And mentoring is for everyone. That's what some people indeed in MSF believe. Mansoor, you do mentoring is
Yes.
not.
Yeah, the mentoring is not his power. It's not about being right, actually. It's not about giving all the solutions. Well done. And it's not about also making friends, actually. And it's not about being moody as well. Yeah, that is correct. And it's not an ad hoc thing. And it's not about give judgments on the MSF because of person mentors frustrations. True. Yeah. And it's not like a psychological sport. It's not about you're managing them. And it's not about babysitting. That's very well said it. Yeah. And well, it's not a coaching, but sometimes we use coaching skills into that. But yes, it's a bit different into that. We went in this one. Yeah. So very good in that line. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Mansoor, you to say, did they all graduate or is there somebody here that you want to name that maybe doesn't get the certificate?
No, I think they did a very good job. They were engaged. They were nice. So they deserve to be graduated. I will say that. Yeah.
All right. I'll quickly share my screen. Oh, sorry. So this is how your certificate will look like. And here where you see my cursor moving, when you go on Tempo, and we'll open it soon, when you click on here, you're sent to a PDF page, so you can actually create your own certificate for this workshop. So I've been trying that out on an earlier workshop, and you get the signature of our team leader, Mansoor. So one day it will be very valuable. So click on this button and you see your certificate.
Okay, so well, then we are almost on the end actually. So what's gonna happen after this? You will receive like an online survey from our colleague Frederick. So it's very important how this whole mentoring workshop went, your feedback, your evaluation. It's just anonymous. Your names will not come, but it's really help us to really learn from what you have said, and then we can reincorporate back in upcoming online mentoring workshop. And by saying that, I must say that it was very, very lovely to create this space for you for a learning. But what I found, I was trying to pick words. So how was this group? It was like really a fun and engaged group. So you was really good in terms of listening, in terms of participating, in terms of questioning and how you practice. So it was quite there. So thank you very much for doing that and allowing us to hold this space. So, and then you are a mentor now, you know, so the world of mentoring is yours. So go and enjoy. And being a mentor, I can tell you, it's also a learning process and it's a lot of fun. So go practice and enjoy. And thank you so much, you know, thanks a lot.
Yeah, and we so we do to give that some meat, we'll do a quick round. So I'm going to have fun being a mentor because, and we quickly, you can say it even in one word, and then you pass on to somebody else. So I asked Teresa to start. I'm going to be having fun being a mentor because, and it can be one word or a very short sentence.
Because he's putting in place all the experience and all the knowledge that I have been able to acquire and to transmit or to share this, I think is fun and interesting. And I pass to Maria Sole.
Okay, I will be really silly. I think when you love something, you enjoy it and you have fun. So it was my desire to attend this training and to start as a mentor. And so let's have fun now. Yeah, being a mentor.
And who you pass?
Always this point. Sorry, guys. Jana.
Yeah, because I like it. Stefano?
Because I will meet wonderful people in the field, just as I met wonderful people during this workshop. And that will keep me alive and happy. And I will pass it to Colette.
Yeah, for me, it's mostly to be connected to people on the mission. Yeah. I pass to Barbara.
Because it's a two-way learning. Ala?
Because I enjoy to share my experience and support people the same as I received support before when I became a HR coach first time. And I want to pass to Jihan.
Thank you. Because I will get to accompany people on amazing journeys and to support them through that. And I find it very rewarding. And because I don't have to deal with I don't have to manage them. So I can support them without managing them, which is the best part.
And you pass on to?
I pass on to Hajan.
Thank you, Jahan. I think I would love it because it would give me a chance to be in almost every mission of MSF. Even if I haven't seen it physically, I will learn a lot about that mission. And I would love that.
And you pass to?
Pass it to Samuel.
Rajan, just because it makes me part of the MSF family. Simple enough. And I'm going to pass it to Ayuko.
Okay, because now that mentoring is a part of my life, yes. So I pass to Kumi.
Okay, I will enjoy because I can share my failures. I will pass it to Azma.
So, Asma, yeah, you have some connection problems. So we're naming one by one. I'm gonna have fun being a mentor because, and you can say one word or a short sentence.
Have fun being a mentor because it's fun having a relationship with the field, connection with the field.
All right, great. Yeah, then you're supposed to send to somebody who hasn't spoken yet, which you obviously don't know. I think, Ruth, you have not spoken yet.
I'm going to have fun being a mentor because I love connecting with new people and I love learning while offering support on their journey. So I'm looking forward to that. Is there anyone else? Sorry. Jana, have you had a turn? Yeah.
Anybody who didn't speak yet?
Is there anyone else? Nope.
Okay, that was all. So we like to make a picture. So if you still need to do your hair, well, this is the moment. And then I'm gonna make a picture now, and we'll put it on Tembo for you. So just bear with me 1 second because I need to save it. And then we want to make a second picture with the most crazy face you can make. So do whatever you need to do, make a very crazy face.
Wow.
Is that your craziest face? You can make it a bit wilder. Okay, here we go. All right. And we will put the pictures on Tembo for you, and nobody will see those crazy pictures. Don't worry, we will not put it on Facebook. All right. Yeah, then Mansoor, we're closed.
Yes. Thank you so much.
We're good. Mansoor and me, we will
ask a
stay
quick
for
question?
any comment or question you might have. So we'll be staying here. If you need to go, just you can leave. Or anything you want to say, Ruth.
No, it was just a question about the video feedback. Like, when does that happen?
The recording from yesterday. Yeah. We will check in with Ruth where we are, but you should receive it. If you send in the recording, you should receive it today.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And I'm not quite sure. Like I was responsible for ours, so I feel this great sense of responsibility. But I'm sure Ruth would have mentioned by now she hadn't received it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we will check in with Ruth. Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm signing off for the night. Just don't want to hold anyone else up. That's all.
All right.
Will we be added to your community of practice mailing list and these kind of things like Agnese was mentioning? So you're launching the community practice in a week, I think, or 2 weeks. Like, will we be part of your info group?
Yes.
Or do we have to run after the info? Okay, good.
No. You will be automatically added to it. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a wonderful weekend.
It was a pleasure.
And if you have any comment or a question to Mansoor or me, we will stay here. Otherwise, you can just leave. And see you soon.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Bye.
Yes, bye.
Bye.
Richard, I just missed the last bit on the next steps. If you can just, because I think I disconnected when you were just saying